Hello friends, welcome back. The last series of lectures was on the play Abhijnana Shakuntala written by Kalidasa. Today we will be discussing our discussion on the play Ghashiram Kotwal. There is a lot of difference between the last play we discussed and the current play that we are going to discuss henceforth. Abhijnana Shakuntala is a Sanskrit drama written about 1,000 years ago, or rather 1500 to 1600 years ago, roughly, because Kalidasa's time is not exactly known. But we have to take roughly the time of around 4th or 5th century AD in which his plays were written. And after that, for some more years, the tradition of Sanskrit dramas continued, and all those dramas were based on Indian epics and Indian mythologies. Then, during the periods of foreign invasions, this art saw a decrease in its stature. Drama, as such, did not flourish in the medieval times in India. There are multiple reasons, the major reasons being foreign invasions, and because of these foreign invasions, our literature, our ancient tradition, our literature, our dramas, they were all taken away from us, and we were introduced into a new kind of education system, that is what we are following today, the Western education system. So these are the times wherein the drama as an art did not flourish much in India, and rather literature in general took a backseat in these times of difficulties. Then we find the rise of drama only with the introduction of English in India. Before that, if we have to take Indian drama into consideration, we have to only go back to the times of Bhasa, Kalidasa, Bharavi, and those ancient Sanskrit dramatists. In between, there were no great dramas that came in Indian tradition. Then we see a rise in the form of drama only in the modern times. When Britishers came to India, they established the Western education system, and some elite class of India got Western education. Only then we saw a rise in the dramas. But now the form of the drama got changed. It was not like the ancient classical traditions. Now we had a lot of Western models to follow, and people like Madhusudan Dutt, Rabindranath Tagore, Sri Aurobindo, those were the people, those were the writers who started literature in general during those times when the when English education system was introduced in India. So how were the dramas during those times? So when we consider the whole history of Indian drama, roughly we categorize it into two different stages. One is the ancient classical drama, which is majorly Sanskrit in its essence, and then it also has the sources from Mahabharata, Ramayana, and the Puranas. The second phase we consider is the modern phase of Indian drama, in which again we have to make two divisions. One is pre-independence Indian drama, and then we have post-independence Indian drama. The interesting factor here we have to understand is that Indian drama, when we say Indian drama today, we consider Indian dramas written in English directly, as well as Indian dramas written in regional languages first and then translated into English. And when we consider the post-independence period, the second type is more significant. That is, first they were written in their regional languages. For example, we have Girish Karnad, we have Vijay Tendulkar, we have typical like T.P. Kailasam, who wrote dramas in Kannada or in Marathi or in their regional language. Later, they themselves translated the same piece into English. So, together, we consider both these types of dramas as Indian drama in the modern period. Then, how to categorize or how to differentiate between the pre-independence and the post-independence drama? I'm not going to tell everything about uh, these forms of drama. I'm just going to highlight some major points. Like for example, in the pre-independence drama, the major influence of when it comes to style of writing the drama, or the way dramas have been categorized into acts and scenes, it was influenced by the Western theatre. But the essence or the subject themes were majorly Indian. Madhusudan Dutt, Rabindranath Tagore, those were the two very important people who wrote dramas in the pre-independence period. So we have to remember here, as I said, I'm not going to tell everything in detail here. It's just a highlight sort of a thing. So they wrote in English, they followed the English style or the Western style of drama, but the essence or the themes were verily Indian. Then another important difference between the ancient and the modern dramas is that ancient dramas were all based on the epics, whereas the modern dramas in India, they were dependent on they took their sources from the Indian society, the contemporary social problems of India. They constituted the modern drama. This has to be clear in our minds before we understand the current play, Ghashiram Kotwal. And then there is further stage. So I would like to just enumerate some of the important pre-independence playwrights. One is Rabindranath Tagore, then Sri Aurobindo, Harindranath Chattopadhyay, then A.S.P. Iyer, T.P. Kailasam, he was from Karnataka, and then Bharati Sarabhai. These were important writers among the pre-independence dramatists. When we come to post-independence period, because we have to understand the context before we study any novel or we study any poetry or a drama, it is very important to know the context in which this particular drama is written or this novel is written. We have to understand the social situations of the times in which the drama was written. So post-independence period is totally a different period. For anything in India, post-independence period was a strange period or a different period rather, because we have had lots of problems solved already and lot of challenges which were troubling India. For example, post-independence period, when we think of this period, first thing that comes to our mind is the partition problem. How partition had its effect on the whole atmosphere of India, and that is reflected in the novels of Bapsi Sidhwa, in the novels of Khushwant Singh, like Train to Pakistan. And it was a traumatic period. We needed a lot of time to overcome that problem. And then another problem was a social problem. The inclusion of the untouchables in society was not very acceptable for the upper class people in the initial days when the nation was declared as independent nation. These people were included in the Indian society. They also got their equal right and they had to struggle a lot for that. Even though they got equality in terms of law, they were not treated equally in the society. This was another problem which had troubled India soon after our independence. Then the political instabilities in the initial period, the confusion over our own constitution. So all these problems were there just after the period of independence, or just after we got independence. Then slowly the society got stabilized, the people of India got stabilized, and there was some sort of peace in the country, prevailing in the country. Yet at social level and at in the level of families, there were lots of problems. At individual level, at communal level, there were lots of problems, and these problems continue to remain like this. There are problems of superstition, then there are problems of corruption, there are problems related to male domination, female feticide, then dowry, then ill treatment of the widows. These problems, which were deep rooted in the ancient traditions, or rather I would call them superstitions, continue to remain as a threat to Indian society even after we got independence. Of course, we were free from the British rule, from the excuse me. Of course, we were free from the outsiders' rule, but we were facing the troubles internally because of our own problems. So the modern writers who wrote after independence started focusing on these internal problems. So the major themes of modern plays or post-independence plays were corruption, socio-political struggles, economic crisis, identity crisis, injustice, differences or disturbances in familial relationships, marriages, conflict between tradition and modernity, cruelty, hypocrisy of the rich, and many other problems. The playwrights focused on these issues, and they felt that it is the need of hour to look upon a human being as an independent human being. So it is important to go and deal with the psychology of the person. This became more important because we did not have any external struggle to fight with. We had these internal struggles to fight with as human beings, and this became very prominent theme for Indian playwrights in the postmodern time. And in the major playwrights in the post-independence period are Habib Tanvir, then we have K.N. Panikkar, Asif Karim Boy, another famous playwright, and then Girish Karnad from Karnataka, Vijay Tendulkar from Maharashtra, Mahesh Dattani, Manjula Padmanabhan, G.V. Desani, Gurucharan Das, Pratap Sharma, Mohan Rakesh, a Hindi playwright, Mohan Rakesh, Badal Sarkar from Bengal. These are prominent playwrights in the post-independence period. Looking at all these scenes of Indian drama, we can say that it is only today, it is only in the post-independent times that the art called a drama has reached its peak. Because, of course, after a long gap of in the time of tradition from Kalidasa till post-independence time, there were no great playwrights in India. It was developing as a form of art. So now only in this period, in the present or contemporary period, we see that this form is at its peak. Then what is the difference, or what are the key differences between Indian traditional drama and the Indian modern or the contemporary drama? One major difference is that the concept got changed completely. As I said, in the ancient Indian tradition, dramas were never tragic. But now in the post-independence period, dramas could be tragic, and majorly they are tragic. They end in a tragedy. There is a lot of bloodshed and violence shown on the stage because they believe that it is the reality of society, today's society. And they try to reflect the reality on the stage. So they are full of realism. And the treatment is rather naturalistic in today's plays. Then another difference, the concept of hero as the main character in the drama that was followed by ancient writers like Kalidasa, Bhasa, it got changed completely. And in the modern dramas, even a villainous character could be more powerful, more prominent than the heroic character. So there are lots of differences in the way dramas are being structured in the modern times than they were structured in the previous times. One important factor of the post-independence dramatists is that most of these writers, the list I have mentioned just now, Habib Tanvir, Asif Karim Boy, Vijay Tendulkar, many of these people first wrote in their own language, their regional language, and then they translated the dramas into English. That is how they contributed a lot to the theatre, not just in India but at a global level also. Because playwrights like Vijay Tendulkar and Girish Karnad are world popular today for their themes, for their stories they have portrayed in the dramas. So, this is a brief review about the scene of drama in Indian tradition. Then, one important fact we have to remember is that this fact is very important because it led to growth of drama in India in the in the post-independence period. That is the establishment of National School of Drama in New Delhi. It was established in 1959 and it gave scope for many actors and playwrights to raise to a global level of art. This is how post independence drama is very different from pre independence drama and way too different from the ancient classical Indian drama. Now, we have to speak something about the playwright before we actually begin the play Ghashiram Kotwal. Vijay Tendulkar. Born in 1928 and he died in 2008. He was famous as a playwright, as a script writer for movie and TV serials. He was a literary essayist, political journalist, and social commentator. I would not like to tell everything about his life or biographical details, but I would like to focus on what made his dramas or what was the chief content of his dramas, how he was influenced to write such great stories in his dramas. Majorly, he was influenced by the real life incidents that happened around him in the city of Mumbai. Being a being a family man, being a member of the middle class, how he was observing the Indian scene, how he was observing the Indian society, what were the changes that were happening in society, what were the cruelties that were faced by the middle class people. He was a witness to all these realistic scenes in the city of Mumbai. And not just Mumbai, this was seen in India in many places. That is what gives him a kind of naturalistic view towards life. The play which he wrote in 1956, that was entitled Shrimant, this play established him as a great writer. Further, he went on exploring the themes of violence and various forms of violence. Majorly, we find that this is the most important element in Ghashiram Kotwal's plays. Whether it might be Sakharam Binder, whether it might be Ghashiram Kotwal, whether it might be the play Kanyadan or this one Gidhade or the Vultures, all these plays All these dramas consist of this theme, violence in various forms. Violence may be mental torture, it may be physical torture, it may be economic torture. So any kind of violence, it may be even sexual violence or communal violence. These types of violences became prominent as themes in the in the dramas written by Ghashiram Kotwal. He also tries to show the decadence, moral decay of the society, how the economic well-being of the rich classes leads to their moral decadence, how lust leads to their moral decadence. So he has tried to show all these defects of the human psychology in his dramas. And he is very well known for showing his anger against some of the Hindu social groups, especially Brahmins, and this play was very much controversial because of this issue. Ghashiram Kotwal became extremely controversial play, and rather it was banned for a few years in Mumbai because of the fact that he tried to degrade the Brahmin society. He has written nearly 30 full-length plays. Among them, the famous were Sakharam Binder, Ghashiram Kotwal, Kanyadan, Silence, the court is in session, that is Shantata, court चालू आहे in Marathi, Kamala, Shrimant, Manus नावाचे बेट, गिधाडे, translated in English as vultures, गृहस्थ, अशी पाखरे येती, पाहिजे जातीचे, and so on. He has written 2 novels which are entitled simply as Kadambari number 1, Kadambari number 2. Because of his contribution to the field of drama, the way he wrote drama, he took drama to the top of success. He was awarded with lots of prizes through government agencies. Like in 1970, he was awarded Sangeet Natak Academy Award. In 1977, National Film Award for Best Screenplay. Then 1984, he won the Padma Bhushan. 1993, he was awarded with Saraswati Samman. In 1999, he got a very famous award for dramatists known as Kalidasa Samman. These are some of the most important awards that were on the credit of Vijay Tendulkar. So Vijay Tendulkar is known for his plays which are very vibrant in the showcasing of human emotions. There is no hindrance in expressing the human emotions throughout the dramas of Vijay Tendulkar. His characters seem to be extremely violent. They are they speak so openly about violence and they support violence so much that we feel horrified looking at certain characters who trouble their own family members, their own children, their own husband or wife. This is the reality which Vijay Tendulkar had seen in his life. He had been a witness to all these sorts of violence. This is the reason why we find violence or the psychological problems that were troubling man from within as major themes in his plays. Considering all these factors, Vijay Tendulkar is one of the most important playwrights in the scene of Indian dramatic tradition. In the next class, I will give you the background information on the play Ghashiram Kotwal, the story related to this drama, how it was adapted, and then we will look at the original story of Ghashiram Kotwal in the next class. With this, I conclude my today's lecture. Thank you so much.